Hello, everybody. This is Anthony Bionis from Mission Start Podcast, and if you enjoy listening to us not only on the website but also on iTunes, be sure to check us out on Stitcher as well. Stitcher is an iPhone, Android app, also on other smartphones. You can download for free, and also registration is for free too. It's an app that you can listen to any podcast that is on there without ever downloading a file. When you register with Stitcher, be sure to put in promo code Mission Start or Conover or both, and you get to automatically be entered into a $100 prize every month from Stitcher. So be sure to check us out, support us, and we'll support you guys. Everybody, it's Anthony Bionis from Mission Start Podcast, and usually we have a Conover episode every time a convention is over, but being the fact that I was the only member of MSP to go attend Anime Display about 2 weeks ago, this is my short self-Conover edition of it. Quite simply, I had a great time at Anime Display. It was held in San Francisco at the Hyatt Regency. A new venue for Anime Display, which was originally back in the downtown San Francisco area, near the right next to the Japantown, in the hotel. I think it was called the Hibuki Hotel. But anyways, it was moved to a new venue, and it needed it. It really did. It was the last time I was there last year. It was really crowded, and a lot of the cosplayers were actually not much inside the con, but more or less around it or in that area between the Japantown, between the those two buildings that connect to each other, to the food they have, as well as the shops. Given, I think that venue people, the businesses loved the fact that they were there and getting a lot of good business, but it did needed a lot of work. It needed as far as somewhere else bigger, somewhere else so more cosplayers can just kind of walk around without ever being like flooded in. But yeah, it was moved to a new venue, and I have to say the venue is great. Actually, it's very spacious. It's very it's a lot bigger than they had previously. If I were to compare it to any other convention in terms of hotel wise, I'd say like Katsucon or like our Anime LA in terms of just how in terms of how a convention is in a hotel is held, and when you can open your window on your hotel and you can see people walking around the convention floor, people across from you, that type of feeling. The problem with the venue is that when I was walking around and I was having fun, the problem is that because it's in such a, I guess, isolated place in San Francisco, going out for food was a bit of a hassle, and even if you did, the food nearby was expensive. There were several places that were nearby, the Benihana, Elephant Bar, this Asian restaurant across the street, and the food inside the hotel, which were all expensive, and it was not the greatest greatest thing ever. I had to literally pay a lot of money that weekend for food, at around like 16, 15 bucks a pop. It was crazy. Like the cheapest food I would have gotten was at the 7-Eleven down the street, and it was not worth it either to go there for food. So that was one of the things that really hurt the venue as far as like the new place. Um, Aside from that though, like they fixed it. Talking about the venue and the stuff they had, one of the things they fixed that was, I think everybody really complained about, was the dealer's hall and how small it was. Walking around, just kind of, not enough room to, buy stuff or just to look. They cured that this year with a much needed bigger venue in the room size for the dealers hall, and it was great. They combined both the dealers hall and the artist alley into one big room, and it was a lot of space for both. And it it was a needed change. It was, I think, one of the issues that DigCon faced from last year. The only problem is that I believe were using the biggest room or the biggest size when it comes to that in the convention. Everything else, as far as the panel rooms, as far as I wouldn't say the masquerade, but like as far as like the panel rooms and as far as everything else wise, for the other rooms, including the game room, and arcade, and the panels and whatnot, they were pretty small. Um, they were relatively, I believe, a good quarter or half, not even say half, a good quarter the size of what your typical average room would be for a panel. There were some panel rooms that were a lot bigger, and they held more space, but particularly for the other, like fan panels on the beds, they were relatively small. And it could only contain, I think, at the most maybe 50 people, maybe even less than that. Even I would say maybe like 25, 20, and it was really small. And I think that, I mean, depending which panel you went to, depending, how crowded it was or how the panel was run, like either be really crowded or it was, the right size. But what I can tell, um, that could be an issue later on if they plan to stay this menu. If you get fan panels that are really popular and there's just not enough room for anybody, just for everybody to come in. Um, Masquerade I did not attend to. I should really hear that actually. I have a good reason for it too, but you guys won't find out till later. But I didn't go to Masquerade. I heard it was actually really good from friends of mine who told me. And they had the Masquerade outside. It was in this kind of tent, right next to the pool. It was like on the back of the hotel, and it was the same place where the opening ceremonies was and the concerts. And space wise, was there's no problem really. I think that it was plenty enough space for people to walk in and watch. I can only imagine though how cold it must have been, because I think during that time when I was there, it was pretty chill. And I mean, I'm talking about maybe 50, 60 degree weather, maybe even a tad, nah, not 70 degree weather. Sorry, it was 70 degrees that weekend. Um, so actually, it was in a right good, but that the low might have been, because it was at night, it might have been a bit chilly. Not to mention it's right near the bay, so that wind chill might have came in and really froze the asses of a lot of people in there. Um, but I didn't go, but I heard it was good, and a lot of people really enjoyed themselves. Um, Aside from that, attendance wise, during the convention, attendance wise, it was, I'm not sure what the numbers were exactly, but just judging just from the eye test as far as comparison to the one in Japantown, it the attendance felt small, but it's only because the people from Japantown that grew out of that hotel and came over to a much bigger hotel. And we're talking freaking huge compared to what was there before. And I felt a lot smaller, but it was the same. It was the same size. I got a lot busier Saturday. There was a lot more people, but it wasn't enough for me to like body to body just kind of walking around and not having that issue of just like traffic wise. It was actually not say pretty empty, but it was pretty spacious. It was enough for me that I won't have to worry about any nature or anything to that problem. And as far as that, I mean, like, I did enjoy my time there. I did enjoy taking playing the games there in the tournament. I did enjoy commentating for a Marvel tournament that I was helping out there on stream. It was I think the most fun times I had, really, in my opinion, was um, I did hang out with friends. Um, the friends kind of made it more fun than what AOD initially did, because there were some panels I checked out that I really had fun with, like the League of Legends panel, the Walking Dead panel, Christina V panel. I enjoyed some of those panels, But um, as far as like things to do at the con, there really wasn't much. What made it fun for me was just taking coverage and just kind of hanging out with friends and talking and going to the bar that was there at the hotel. And it was just there wasn't much to do. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I was there, and there was it was to me because I was there for both days, both Saturday and Sunday. Actually, I was there Friday too, just as a day zero type of thing. But it just felt to me, it just felt like AOD this year would could have been easily just for me if I'd have known prior to this experience. I probably would have gone just for a day, and that would be probably Saturday. And it was just there wasn't much to do. There really wasn't, and I don't know if it's that's programming's fault or if it's not enough fans uh, volunteering for panels that they want to do, but there wasn't much to do in terms of the anime convention. I mean, there was your stereotypical dealers hall, you got your panels, you got your arcade and gaming room. But past that, I mean, it was nothing. And the fact that because the hotel is such an isolated place in San Francisco, if you wanted to do something outside of the convention or hotel, there really wasn't really much to do if you want to get food. If food was expensive. If you want to take photo shoots, there wasn't much per se. I mean, if you walk down the block, yeah, if you walk down like a couple blocks down, maybe like 4, 5, maybe 6 at the most. But there was a perfect like spot. It was at the Marriott Hotel, and they had it like the shoreline where you can take pictures, and it was really nice. It was actually really cool. I initially thought that was the hotel, but sadly it wasn't. But it really this venue kind of isolates itself from you know San Francisco in a place where uh, once you're there, I mean, there's nothing much to do outside the convention, and you pretty much just stuck at the con and do whatever at the con can do. It outside from take pictures and videos, and other than that, there wasn't much to do. Um, it it didn't feel to me that it deserved a 2 day convention. It felt like it deserved 1 day, but because of some of the guests that were there, it made it a bit more worth my while, just tiny bit. Um, but aside from that, I mean, line. I mean, I'm pressed, so I don't have to worry about lines. But from judging from the lines, there wasn't much of an issue. Registration seemed to go in pretty smoothly. Uh, People were really friendly. Like the staff were pretty chill. The hotel staff were actually pretty grateful. I was talking to them when I was there getting my hotel room, and they were very nice. They were very grateful, and they were really cool with us being there in the business that we were bringing them to them. So it wasn't much of a problem to them at all. I think that if anything, it was a real chill con. It was really relaxing. Um, I the like I didn't see no gatherings as far as I know. I think there was a Homestuck gathering, but that was like outside the pool. I'm pretty sure. In terms of photo shoots, though, um, the okay, so you enter the hotel, the Hyatt Regency, and there's about 2 floors, and then all around. And the main floor is obviously where the convention is, and on the second floor, and this is open. There isn't like no ceiling or anything. Um, there's this kind of you go up the stairs and you see this kind of patio area mixed in with like it's also a restaurant. There's also a little bar in it too, and there's like think of like Otacons or maybe it's called Katsukons, but the famous gazebo that cosplayers love to go and take pictures at. It had the same type of feel. There was great shots for photo shoots to be taken, especially during night or when there's nobody is around. And it was great for photographers and cosplayers to do their photo shoots. Um, but outside of that, I mean, people were pretty bored to the point that I was walking around and I saw these people brought their Wii U in a karaoke machine. Because apparently I think there wasn't no karaoke room at AOD, and they brought a karaoke and asked people to join in, like, hey, you wanna come sing with us? It's like, okay, that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, there really wasn't much to do. I This has been, I believe, the 11th year of AOD has been around, and I I mean, let's not paint over it. I mean, like the con was not great. Um, Now many people will say that it was great. I mean, like, obviously every experience is different. Not to say that mine was different from anybody else's, but it may differ person to person. But as a person who to review to give my personal thoughts on the convention, uh, I think that yes, you did need to address the venue. That was the biggest thing that AOD was facing, in terms of size and the amount of people that were in it. But I think that the venue they chose, it was great, but there isn't much to do. Maybe if they adjusted the size of the panel rooms, maybe they let them bigger. Maybe if they, in terms of size of like each room, they made the panel sizes bigger, the video room bigger, the maybe having Masquerade in a different location, maybe having the dealer's hall not take up so much space. Maybe some different ideas, but right now, in my opinion, I think that AOD should think about um, going to another place, but in San Francisco, because there is a lot to do. I mean, it was in San Francisco, but like there's a lot more to do back when it was in the old place, where yes, there was Japantown. There was great food. There was a place right between the convention and the food, like in that one area in San Francisco and Japantown. Where people would get to hang out and talk and take pictures. And Masquerade was there, and it was great. Um, and Yeah, like I think this venue hurt it in a way. It helped it in some areas, but I think it hurt it at the same time. Um, I, yeah, that's pretty much about what I think the issue was, among other things I've already discussed in this short little podcast episode. As far as I'm trying to think of other things that might have, I experienced, the cosplayers, people that were great. Everybody was. I had no problems with anybody when I was at the con. Um, there were a lot of sick people though. I mean, that flu was still going around, and I got that flu back in freaking December. And I'm glad I got. I'm in September. December, right after finals, and that flu was still going around when I was there at the cons. That flu was pretty mighty. One of the voice actors, actually, one of the special guests couldn't even make it. Like, that's the first day, he's like, nah, I'm done. I'm sorry, I'm too sick to go. So on the second day, um, but yeah, like it was just the special guests. Well, I did enjoy most of them. There were a few that were, I think, for some events that did not quite intrigue me as much. And it, yeah, it aside from that, I mean, like it really wasn't much to do. What AOD reminded me from going that weekend was kind of like the old tech animes, the old tech cons, where you just go for a day and you hang out and you have fun. But it was just more for a day, and that was fine. AOD for a weekend, it didn't justify a weekend. It felt more like a convention that could be considered best for a day. Um, Now, given the fact that yes, this was the first year that they moved the venue to the new venue to something bigger, obviously you can have that comparison or that massive difference. But in due time, I'm not quite sure how long of a deal they have with the Hyatt Regency, but who knows? I mean, like we'll see what happens in given a few years, um, and maybe they stay there, maybe they plan to go back, or who knows exactly what the plans are for the future AOD. But honestly, in my opinion, if it's the same place next year, I probably will not go. Maybe I might go for a day, but that's it. I'm not not to say that it's bad or anything. Well, actually I am, but um, but it just did not feel like a convention worth going or spending that much money and time and effort, or spending the hotel weekend at. Because it's such an isolated place, and it really hurts it. The location really, I think, hurts AOD on top of the other things I've said prior. And we'll see how it goes. And overall thoughts. I mean, and usually it's funny when I do these Conover podcasts. I actually have something with me talking about it, and since I was the only one, there, it's kind of funny how I'm the only one talking about it right now. um, but overall thoughts on the convention, like, I enjoyed it because of friends. I enjoy I enjoyed the stuff I got. Don't get me wrong, I got a lot of good stuff for once. Because I usually don't buy at conventions, but this time I actually had money and I spent money on stuff. But don't get me wrong, but like I think the friends made it more fun than it actually was. And this convention, it yeah, like it definitely did not have that feeling of it should have been a 2 day con or a 3 day con. Just be stuck to one day. One last thing though, because I know usually I ask, when we're on here, like, what was your favorite, random moment, or what was, when you it stuck out to you in cosplays. As far as the cosplays, like, the cosplays were, Anime LA really spoiled me. Like, the the cosplays were great, but they weren't as good as Anime LA's. Just saying. I was too much spoiled after coming back from Anime LA and going to this con. Um, but there were some good ones. There were some pretty good ones I like. Obviously anything Killer Kill, I was like totally like freaking in love with. There was this one girl who dressed up as forgot her name, but she was from Cyborg 009, and then the next day she actually cosplayed what's her name from Blaze Blue, the blonde hair little girl Lolita, and that character I can't remember, but Alucard, no, I don't know, maybe, but like, yeah, she was really cool. She did a good outfit. Obviously I have friends who are really great cosplayers, and yeah, I mean, like, it was just kind of, there were some good ones. There was definitely some good ones, but nothing really that stood out to me as like, oh my god, I must take a picture. Um, but in terms of like the most random moment, I think when it comes to that, I think it was just like, I think at night when I was walking around, just kind of, I was like, just hanging out with friends and just kind of going from friends to friends to friends, as far as like groups wise. Just because like it was funny, I was hanging out with one group of friends, and then that, like 10 minutes later, I was hanging out with another group of friends, and then 15, 20 minutes later, I'm hanging out with another group. It was really cool, like, because I have so many friends, like, I have so many friends, oh my god. Because I have so many friends there, like, I just went from group to group to group and just chilled and just, like, hanged out, and I had a good time with them, more so than I did, the actual con. So, that's my thoughts. That's my overall thoughts. I think AOD should really seriously consider moving back um, to another venue. I think this venue, hurts it, and that I think that people who went this year may or may not come next year. But that's my opinion, and that's kind of what I think, my suggestion, or kind of my overall thoughts about the convention. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me for this short 21, 22 minute podcast. Usually I have you with me talking about this convention or talk about, experiences, but, obviously I'm not here. I wasn't, I mean, no, I was there. I don't know. I was the only one there from MSP that was there covering the convention. Anyways, you can follow me on Twitter at Defected Naruto. You can follow the work that I do, as well as everybody else that works on this site, on our website at missionstartpodcast.com. Be sure to check out all our anime display coverage, our videos, our picture galleries are up. Be sure, and there's also, this podcast as well. Be sure to check all that out, as well as other stuff we've been doing. We've been very busy as of late. Uh, And that's not an understatement for the entire month of January. But we've been one hell of a start this year, and we're only going to get better. So, anyways, with that, I